I've got a question for you to think about with me today. Do you have lore in your Minecraft world? This is an important question. We're starting a new season over on the HyruleCraft server by the Basement, where we last season built an entire space-themed world called Sky City. There was a lot of lore there, a lot of thought and care put into everything built. This season, as you're looking at the different parts of the new HyruleCraft spawn that I was privileged to be a part of the build team of, the question of lore and its relation to Minecraft building and Minecraft worlds has come up yet again for many reasons. Now, I spent most of my time last season on the BasementCraft side of the HyruleCraft server. It is it's a little more exclusive, patron-only side of the server for those who want to support the Basement and the BasementCraft community, but also get a little more chill experience than the free side of the server, which has a lot of kids and other people who come in for short stints and make a mess and leave and cause trouble. So that's why we're over there for the most part. I was privileged this season to begin it with many of our longtime community members, as well as my wife, who joined me in getting to play a full season over here on the BasementCraft side. And as we began to explore and do all those, initial Minecraft things, getting away from spawn, which, by the way, was put into a lush cave and it's kind of a pain to get out of for quite a while, we began looking around the world and trying to figure out what we could do. We, did the things exploring loots and buried treasure and Nether portals. Here I am racing one of our server members, Dio, and quite handily beating him to the first chest of the world, which I think I got a Silk Touch golden shovel that I have continued to use till this day, mostly for marking my claims and stuff that we have as part of the grief protections on the server. And then it got to punching trees, or in this case, bamboo, in order to get wood and sticks and blocks to begin building our world. Now, sometimes you go into a season with the idea of a specific lore in mind, what you want your world to be like, what you want your builds to be like. And other times, the season itself sort of determines that for you. And this season was really the second one of those. Last season, I went in knowing I wanted to build a space-themed build. I wasn't exactly sure what it would look like. I wasn't sure all the ins and outs of it, but I wanted to build something in space. So I went and, right away when I joined the server, went and looked for a nice, big, flat, open area that I could build above and not have to do a whole lot of terraforming. I say now, I ended up clearing off, 4 map chunks worth of dirt down to a certain level so I could build a spiral galaxy in the floor of it. But, at the time I thought I was only going to build mostly above ground. This season, I really had no clue where we were going to live, what we were going to do. I'm going to be basing with my wife and with Bat, who's my wife's sister, and we're going to have a group build. Now, when I talk about lore and what lore means for a Minecraft build, a lot of people, their mind jumps to different things. Some people, when they hear lore, they think, oh, that's the stuff that's in the cutscene of the video game. That's the stuff, that's the flashbacks, that's like the deep history of the world and, the people who made the world and all the, major forces of the history of the world. But really, lore is more than that. Lore is about the traditions of a place. It's about the way a place functions as part of a civilization or a society. It's something that's deeply embedded that goes and affects the everyday life of a community in ways that you wouldn't think about just if you went and read the mythology books of that place. Lore has a profound effect on, even communities and architecture and so many things to this day in the real world. And in the Minecraft world, it's probably not that different. Well, here we were in our community starter area. And one of the things we did was we began trying to level up our cartographer so we could find a trial chamber. We decided as a server that on day one, those of us on the BasementCraft side, we're going to go and tough it out and fight a trial chamber. Because after all, if you go to a trial chamber too late when you're all geared up, the initial prizes and things are just really not that good, and it's not that much of a challenge unless you do the ominous trials. And we thought, hey, what a unique experience for day one than to go and fight a trial chamber. Now, thankfully, I just happened to be mining down and go look for iron while I was waiting for sugarcane to grow, ran into the sounds of trial spawners beside me, and we headed in to begin fighting a trial chamber. It was a great chamber. We found breezes, we found skulk, we found amethyst, and we found slime. So a lot of those things that are, kind of hard to source out early in the world, like slime and amethyst, we found right away by finding the trial chamber. Once that experience was done, and hopefully I want to put a video of that chaotic experience maybe onto the second channel or part of a compilation video later in the season, my wife and I headed out to find what would become our base. And here it was what we found. This small tiny bit of badlands sticking up, but that was meshed in with a desert and a savanna and a little bit of green hills and birch forest as well. We thought this would be the perfect place because all of us that were part of our team kind of had different ideas for what our base would look like. And so we headed off and found this area, still not knowing what the lore was, still not knowing what this place was all about, but with the goal of making something of it. And so this was a season where the lore of the base really comes from the area that it's in. We'll talk a little bit more about how that developed and where that showed up. But we began doing all the, early game Minecraft stuff, going and getting villagers, which by the way, the server is now in 1.21. It's actually 121.4. And for the first time, we can now use leads on boats in Java on the HyruleCraft server. And man, for moving villagers and mobs, instead of having to take 2 trips to get a breeding pair, you just get, 1 boat and pull them around and off you go. Same goes for important farm animals, for food and leather and other things like cows. Just need that extra boat and a lead, and we are off to the races to build our starter area. One of the nice things about our spawn being by a lush cave is, I went and got some moss in. While I was there, I also got a little squeaky little axolotl friend, and did find some zombies, but I think I managed to stay clear of most of them as I explored this area, got a few things I needed, and even on my way back from spawn, found the first dog of our world. Don't worry, that'll come into play later. As we were setting up our starter area, we did all the usual things. I even did my usual 40 minutes of going down to the bottom of the world and doing a little mining for diamonds. I don't like to mine a lot. I don't like being underground that much. That's usually a part of the lore of my worlds, is that I'm not underground. But I do realize that in the early game, you have to do a little bit of mining in order to get enough equipment and tools and things to get yourself going. So that's what I did. And I found some diamonds right there under our base. I also went back to what I call the copper mine, the trial chamber that we originally found, and I mined up a lot of useful things. I really love the copper trapdoors and the copper grates. They're so useful for a variety of things. And I wanted to collect a bunch of those and split them up with the other people who went into the trial chamber with us. And of course, one of the great things you can get from trial chambers is dispensers, which are important for a lot of early game farms. Well, the first things I built was, once we had enough villagers, was an iron farm. And I picked a new design. I'll put the information in the description below. And as I was building this is really where the lore of the world kind of began, with this iron farm. One of the key aspects of an iron farm is always spawn-proofing the area around it so that golems cannot appear outside of the collection area. And I wanted to do something different than just putting down, a bunch of dirt blocks that got turned to path, or glass blocks, or slabs, or the usual stuff that people do to spawn-proof iron farms. And so I began using some of the things I've experimented with in other series, using a lot of grass, using moss carpets, using greenery, mixing in tough, all these different blocks, making, rail ties that tied down logs and things like that. And really kind of came out of it with this unique look of, it's like a ship, but it's overgrown and it's in the ground. And so at one point it was kind of here, and then things kind of grew over it. And this really inspired me to begin thinking of this area not as current Badlands or something like that, but as a post-apocalyptic area where something catastrophic had happened, that things had changed and deteriorated and gotten worse. And now things were beginning to grow back, and that began to shape the lore of this area. Let's continue on with our early game builds. After getting our food and armor and iron production going, we began looking for, all right, it's time to get into the Nether and see what we find. And so we built a Nether portal because, that's what you do. Now, Minecraft, as we talk about the Nether, sort of has its own in-game lore. The whole Nether with the piglins and the gold. Of course, now there's a Minecraft movie out that has its own lore developed with it. On our Nether spawn, not the worst Nether spawn, but nothing like being up on a high cliff far away from the areas below that makes it a little difficult to traverse. And of course, Soul Sand Valleys can be a little dangerous with the gas and skeletons as you're in. Now, for me, I was getting shot at and trying to fight off skeletons and gas, but for Bat, who went in with us, she had one of the luckiest little Nether spawns ever, as she began to dig a tunnel straight in one direction to basically begin perhaps making tunnels to travel through the Nether. She found something at Y93 that's not usually found. Yep, in her first 5 seconds of being in the Nether, she found ancient debris and snuck back, got the diamond pickaxe I had made for the obsidian, and got the ancient debris just to flex on all of us. So kudos, you win the ancient debris race. And we began, fighting the different mobs and going around here. We eventually explored and found a warped forest where I did my best Jack Black impression and tried to collect an Ender Pearl. But it mostly involved staring down at a cliff and trying to get back to the safe spot before the Endermen could hit me too much while they danced around my little area and I tried to hit them. Not an ideal Crimson Forest. It's fairly small and kind of on the edge of a basalt delta, so not a lot of room to work with for finding the Endermen with all the other mobs around as well, but did collect enough Ender Pearls to accomplish our goals. At least once this guy stopped dancing around and let me kill him. I also found a fortress not too far from that warped forest as I was searching around. And so from there, I went and used some fire resistance potions to collect plenty of blaze rods for potions and for also being able to make the Eyes of Ender necessary to get to the end. And I was doing such a good job of it that a zombie piglin came to watch me. It's always nice performing in front of an audience. If you like, what's going on here just as much as the zombie piglin, like and subscribe. So we used our Eyes of Ender to find the end portal. We activated it. We opened the gate to the end and jumped in to go fight the dragon. I said to go fight the dragon. Now, the end has its own lore in Minecraft, and the server has its own lore as well, where things often go wrong, especially in the early days of the server. So while we waited for admins to fix the connection between BasementCraft and its end, we collected a bunch of bookshelves from the Stronghold library, because that goes a long way towards being able to get what you need in a Minecraft world. And I like them for decorating. Finally, we were able to get into the end properly and began bridging out from a rather precarious end spawn to the main island. And there she was, flying in the sky, the dragon, and we began to fight her. If you wonder why I put down water earlier, being able to land from hits like that is one reason why. We have basically like level 1 and 2 enchants on all of our stuff right now. So, in case you're wondering why it takes us so long to kill the dragon. Nice shot. Also, don't be like an Enderman and stand right in front of the dragon, because you will die. But eventually we whittled down the dragon to a very small amount of health, and we gave my wife, Mom of Cat, the chance to be the one to slay the first dragon of the season. So GG's to her for doing those last 2 hits while the rest of us did all the work. Yummy XP. And then we went across many chasms, bridging and bridging and bridging, to do the thing you always do after defeating the dragon, going to find our elytra and our wings. Luckily, we were able to find a city that had a ship. And from there, we went and secured our first wings of the world. All right, time to start playing Minecraft now that we've got wings. So having determined that this world was kind of a post-apocalyptic world with the iron farm, I began to work on a creeper farm. It's the same round one I've used the last couple seasons. Last season, we built the Starship Enterprise out of it. This season, I decided it was going to be sort of the circular concrete roof of one of those old Southwestern United States gas stations. And in case you didn't quite get that it was a gas station from the final build, the giant letters on top should kind of help you figure that out. Now, one of my goals with our various farms this season has been to incorporate the new crafter into it. After all, who wants to spend their Minecraft season, at a crafting table, crafting all your blocks into bigger blocks and then, reverting them back to other things? It just seems like a waste of time. So here we actually set up not only the gas station, but also a giant fuel reservoir where the sugarcane is growing. When the sugarcane gets broken, it gets sent over to a little crafting module that turns the sugarcane into paper, and then pairs up the paper and the gunpowder from the creeper farm into rockets. And then I've got a little auto shulker loader thing here going on that puts them into shulkers. And so whenever I need it, I have a shulker full of rockets here waiting for me. And we'll see later, we make a store. We're actually going to sell these on the server this season. And none of it I actually have to do other than just hanging around the base as the base produces the shulkers full of rockets. And in keeping with our post-apocalyptic lore, we have that Southwestern vibe with the gas station and the fuel pump, as well as kind of the rust and other stuff that has settled into various parts. Now, earlier when I got the wings, I said, it's time now to start playing Minecraft. And by Minecraft, I mean going around the world and finding dogs. This is our first time on the server in 1.21, and we have 9 different dog breeds, and I wanted to be the first one to find them all, because I love my little puppies. And so I went around the world. I found the taigas and the groves and all the different stuff. Thankfully, some of it was close to our base with the Badlands and the Savannah right nearby in order to find these different dogs. Hello, puppy. You have a nice bone. Let's go. There you go. All right, let's go home. It's so weird seeing Jack Black on my cape. This little guy, he was kind of a pain to track down in the powdered snow. Let's head back. And I sat down and stared at all my dogs and tried to remember which ones I hadn't collected yet, because there are 9 of them. And then I was off to find the rest. Oh, there's the jungle one I found way earlier in the season. And our last dog was the one in the flower forest. So not too far from spawn, but man, did he take a while. And there's my achievement, the whole pack. I almost lost him though. Somebody didn't cover up the trial chamber in our old communal base, and Well, I almost got shot by some bogs that had escaped and were waiting to ambush me on my way to the Nether portal there. Thankfully, I saw them from a distance and got myself out of the situation. After that, I had collected some wither skulls from the fortress that I had found. And so I was like, hey, wife, Steph, it's time for you to fight a wither this season. After you place the heads correctly on the wither. That's the first test. If you can't put the heads on correctly, maybe you shouldn't be fighting the wither. Nevertheless, we're going to do it because we want some beacon power in our base, and that's an important part of being able to effectively live and farm in a Minecraft world. So we work together to fight and take down the wither using our bows for the first phase, and then using my trusty axe for the second phase to wither him down to nothing without even dying. And hey, free deep slate while we're at it as well. I did almost die, on the other hand, in real life because I was teaching Steph how to fly out of the water drop that I had made to the deep slate mining area. And while I was standing at the top waiting for her, those impulsive thoughts sometimes get in your brain, and, well, I kind of closed the passage. And needless to say, she was sitting about 15 feet away from me and was not very happy. So I'm still alive. We're still married. But if you ever hear about something happened to me, investigate her. And it was probably something like that I did that caused it. Time for the big reveal of the name of the town of our lore that we've been working on for our starter area. This town is called Geyser Gulch. It used to be called Dry Gulch before the catastrophic events of its history, but now it's called Geyser Gulch. So the theory here is that this town used to be kind of just a regular Southwest town. A lot of it was destroyed during the apocalyptic event that happened. But now, because of the apocalyptic event, people haven't lived here and are beginning to emerge into the world. And there are now shiftings in the earth that have caused these geysers to spring up. And these geysers are making green areas all around the world. And so I want to show you guys a few of those things. There's that drop that I almost got murdered at. We've got a little wheat farm here. Kind of looks like a barracks house that you might find on like sort of a military or communal base. That's the idea that preparing for the apocalypse, sort of Fallout style, people had these communal places. And so the Allays here are bringing wheat over to be crafted into hay bales and shipped into our storage area, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Now, as more builds have sprung up around here, we've got things like our sheep farm, which is actually an old converted tractor trailer that was over here. You can tell it used to be part of a group called the Badlands. The tree's kind of blocking the land part of this. Get it? Badlands Corporation, which provides wool and other things like that. And inside of it, we have all our different colors of sheep ready to go in this tractor trailer that we have repurposed for our growing area. Bat usually comes around and is our storage person and fills up the different shulkers as needed with the different types of wool. That's our sheep farm. We've got various geysers springing up throughout the area. I've done different types. Some are just like fountains with glass and other things around them. Others have a lot more mechanical things going on. Over there, we have sort of some key components of our thing. We've got a bamboo farm that's going. We've got a bee farm that looks like an old decrepit McDonald's or McBee's in this case. Now, this build up here is one of the things we actually built not too long after the iron farm. We've got an XP farm below, and I'll show you in a minute. But this water tower we felt like kind of was a central part that you would find in a U.S. town, and it's got kind of the rusting all over the place from its heyday, but has an enchantment set up right here in it so that you can enchant. And of course, down below, we also have the little like sort of maintenance room, and this is actually our in-base XP farm, where we can run the infestation potion and let the allays swim underwater for a bit without breathing so that they'll produce silverfish for us to kill. We're definitely not drowning them. Wouldn't call it waterboarding, but anyways, I do have an on-off switch for it though, at least, because I don't want them to be permanently tortured. Just for the sake of running the farm, that is what we're doing here for our in-base XP. And I love the little changes in 1.21 that made this possible. This is a great little compact setup. Hello, allays. Don't worry about your friends. They're fine. As you can see here, the geysers have gone crazy. We have another boat here that was docked by the coast that is all overgrown with the greenery that has come from the geysers spilling over and out into various parts of the base. And this is really where the lore came from. As we begin to build and greenify and change different things, the lore sort of built itself to explain all the reasons why. And lore isn't just about the big parts of a history like a post-apocalyptic event or whatever. It's also sort of an explanation for why things are the way that they are. In this case, one of the nice things when you're building with multiple people is having a lore that can be flexible to accommodate all the different ways that people will build and work together in an area. If you're building by yourself, you can have a lot of really tight control over the lore, like I did with the Sky City last season and was able to shape that. You can see here my automatic potion brewer making the infestation potions for our XP farm so that we are always ready to go with XP. We've got nether wart and other things growing down here under this sort of wrecked tugboat that's kind of just trapped here in the greenery. And as you work with other people, though, on your lore, you have to be able to adapt. One of the reasons why I don't usually build a lot of lore like this over on, like, say, the HyruleCraft side of the server is, imagine you're building your medieval world with lore and things like that, and your neighbor comes by and starts building like a very modern skyscraper right next to you within your render distance. That kind of could throw off your lore, and either you have to have a lore that can accommodate both of those things, or you just have to accept that you're not really in control of your area. And oh yeah, I was not supposed to shut that trap door, and now I'm stuck. Okay, there we go. While we refill these potions, though, we want to think about lore as not just the big picture stuff, but it's the reasons why things are the way they are. So these terrible bridge platforms that I made out of the ugliest combo of blocks I could think of, the plain wooden planks, because nothing says cheap and just get it built in Minecraft than plain oak structures. You can see there, this is one of the different geysers. This one actually has sort of an on-off function where it'll cycle through every so many minutes and actually bring new water down. Is that this used to all be on land connected to each other, perhaps by roads and things. But now the geysers have sort of washed out underneath the foundations of some of these things, like the cow farm, and now they're connected by all these little makeshift bridges and planks that are cheaply made. I made a chicken farm this season, guys. Look at it. We got a little chicken coop. We got a little nest up there for our chickens. I don't use them. I don't care about them, but my base mates, they wanted chickens. So there we go. We've got them. This was an accidental pretty pumpkin farm I made when I was just kind of getting some pumpkin seeds down early in the season. Here we have a scoot farm for armadillos. And this actually auto-crafts wolf armor. Man, it is filling up really fast. I'm going to have to maybe put some of that in storage or turn that off here soon. And these actually are sold as well in our store. And so that's a fun thing that we've got going on. Remember I told you that dogs were an important, vital part of the lore of this world? Well, they are, because nothing makes me think of kind of like Southwestern United States and like military style base camp kind of thing as like, a dog kennel. And so here we've got our kennel with all the different types of wood and different types of houses for all the little puppies. And I've got the fresh animations mod on, which is why their tails are wagging and they look so happy to be here. They are a pain to get in these houses. Or they want to face the wrong way. Are you going to look this way? Look at you. But one of the things is a few of these are named. Jungle Joe, the first one I met, is named. Balto here, the hero dog who saved that village in Alaska. He's here, but the rest of these dogs are unnamed. So if you would like to have a dog named after you or after your dog, give me the name of the dog that you want and the reason why you want it named. Now, keep it positive. As much as I'd love to honor, the really sad story of your former pet, if that's the case, we've all been there. We've all had former pets. I don't really want to have to do that on a video. It's kind of depressing. So, make it a fun reason why you want in the comments why you want a dog to be named a certain thing, and I'll pick the best ones to name in a future episode this season. Now, here is our moving waterfall. Some of you may have seen the recent trends on HyruleCraft and other things of using redstone to kind of animate your world, whether it's through fans or other stuff. And so this idea I got from Green and some others who use dispensers with powdered snow to make the waterfall sort of look like it had bubbles going on. And here is my house, which you saw me building just now. At first, I did not really like how it turned out. I sort of free-handed it. But once I got all of this red sandstone kind of put out in front, it made a nice contrast between the gray and the green of the house and the red, orangish sandstone. And you can see here, this is a house that has been through some things. It's got some electrical components outside. It's got boarded up windows. You'll see from the inside how I got those interior boards. Come here and look. These are actually the backsides of paintings. And so we've got those going on. We've got the number 14 because that was, in a barracks type setup, you might have all your houses with giant numbers on them so you can easily identify them. Here's a little makeshift storage area. Don't tell Bat that I have another shulker monster going on. She worked on our main storage area, which you'll see in a second. And I sort of keep creating more shulker monsters elsewhere. That's just how it works. Over here, this little area is kind of actually hiding some of the redstone for those stairs. And here we've got our waterfall. It's pretty when you stand far enough to not hear the dispensers. Unfortunately, though, you got to stand kind of close to see this part of it, which is the actual geyser part, because those particles are not visible very far. You can see down here we've got more geysers. There's one I still need to put in down that way. And so the lore of our world is that these geysers have disrupted this town. They have changed it from just a boring desert town on the edge of some kind of lake to a very green and lush place where different builds can happen. You can see there the dispensers that I've got making that. I think that's my favorite geyser, that one right there that just keeps, flowing. I love the movement that it has. These arrow ones are fun and cool, but man, to be close enough to see them is a lot of work, and they're also kind of noisy. You can see here, don't look on the backside of our mountain. We've got our old sugarcane field. We've got a villager breeding hall and sort of a trade setup station that we made. This is one of my favorite builds. This kind of inspired the bigger build of my house. This is our villager negotiation center where we introduce our villagers to our friend over here. Those of you who are fans of the Fallout series or the TV show may recognize this guy. He's our negotiator. He helps convince our villagers to give us lower prices, and he lives in here. And then eventually our goal is to get all the villagers over here into this sort of vault area in the canyon where they can live and do their trades. With fresh animations on, apparently they are still in their minecarts. I need to get them out of those now that they're all moved in and negotiated with. But they are sitting because of the fresh animations mod, so it's a little harder to see them. But got kind of our key trades that we needed for the season. Don't have all the books. When you're not selling books, you don't feel the need to get all of them. Here's a nice little bridge. I'm loving playing with the pale oak that we have this season and all the different stuff and ways you can use that. So that's why I built it, because I wanted to. But one of the nice things about this particular post-apocalyptic build style is it can incorporate a lot of different types of builds. You could have something that's very industrial looking. It fits. You could have something that is very Southwestern looking. Obviously, that fits. You can even have something that looks sort of just kind of like a crude Minecraft build. And because it's post-apocalyptic, that also fits. And so that'll be one of the nice ways where my teammates can continue to build stuff over here in this area without really upsetting the balance of things too much. And even if they build something super modern and nice, we can always justify and say it was built, after the resurgence of Geyser Gulch, when, it became lush and a great place to be again. Here is our bamboo farm. We've got these sort of tarps over it to protect it from the sun being too harsh. So a big part of the lore of this world is that people survived in this vault area here. So this is where all the wealth and things, famous art, other important resources were stored during the time when people were living underground after the apocalyptic event, whatever it was. That's yet to be defined. Here, Bat has built some things like a very pink, calming smelter room. Here you can see the backside of the different storage area and all the different sensors and water streams. We've also got a few of the farms feeding into this. There's a slime farm, sniffer farm, the wheat farm that I showed you guys earlier. All of that comes into here, into this nice area. The iron farm I rerouted over here as well. Of course, one of the things we added in was this central kind of open to the sky area that actually goes up a couple layers using these copper grates and shows that people still long to see the sunlight even though they were stuck under the ground. Perhaps that was the way they got rainwater in. Now this area, this floor above our storage area, where I do not have a shulker monster here. Shulkers are friends, not monsters. That's my shulker friend. This area is sort of my personal factory level. Hello, buddy. Got a little puppy waiting for me here, keeping me company. And in this area, using the bamboo farm and the other resources I'm bringing in from the witch farm and other things that I haven't shown you guys, but that I made in this world. So these different water streams bring things around. These things like this minecart here, its goal is to split items between multiple crafting possibilities. I found that was kind of the most efficient way to do that. So some of these are coming out as turning into logs and then getting turned into planks. There's also one that turns into sticks, but I was really just overwhelmed with sticks initially, so I've locked that one, and now basically everything coming in is going into planks. From those planks, they're being used for things like crafting chests and crafting the all-important hoppers that are important for these different builds and things, and it's been really nice. I built a gold farm and didn't have to produce a single chest or hopper because they were all waiting for me in the storage area. This area, this one splitter actually takes chests out of the mainstream, puts a few of them back into the line to make hoppers, and then sends the rest of the chests to the storage room. So that's just some fun redstone projects I've been kind of tinkering with and working. I want to get better at redstone this season. It's going to be very important for my major project that I'll tease for you guys later, but yeah, I've got this set up. This is not a fully functional factory. There's some things that it can't make, but it also, depends on how many ingredients you put in. If you put in enough ingredients, in theory, every different module should fill up and be able to produce the things that it needs. But what happens is you're only putting in a few ingredients at a time often. One module will kind of steal all the resources before the others get it. And so I'll use, redstone blocks on sticky pistons and stuff that I can turn on and off to lock certain modules. For example, the note blocks here is locked because they were stealing all the planks from the chests and the hoppers. But if I need more note blocks, I'll just turn that on and let it run. Observers, this is one of the last in line for some of the redstone components, so I didn't bother locking it, but I can lock, for example, droppers. I can lock, repeaters, so I can make more comparators. Different kinds of things that use the same ingredients. You can lock the earlier ones so you can get more of the later ones as you're pouring in resources from here. And then part of this factory is also at my witch farm. I'm making redstone blocks and redstone torches that I'll bring over here in shulkers and just dump into the system as well. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch this thing at work. Let's take a little look at it making stuff. Over here, this is a fun spot to sit when you've dumped a bunch of ingredients in. You can watch the hoppers now flying out of here as I put in a bunch of fresh iron for the system. You'll see chests come by every once in a while as the planks from the bamboo farm fill it up. And then other resources as well will be shot out at different times depending on what ingredients have been put into the system. Kind of fun. Some of this stuff goes into the main storage room below. Some of it comes up here. We've got our different things. So I always have lots of ingredients to work with and to fill up my redstone shulkers with to do work at other farms and things in our area. So the question for you guys is, what kind of lore does your Minecraft world have? Does it have a big story behind it? Does it have something small that just kind of explains the details for why stuff is the way that it is? In the case of Geyser Gulch, obviously for us, that's this post-apocalyptic world where we built a vault and have all these nice things in there, but we also have this outside area that's now become very green because of the earth settling and creating all these geysers, and everything sort of fits together because of that. Oh, the iron farm is working. That's always nice to see. So what is the lore of your Minecraft world? But, as I've said before, and I've said several times in this video, this is my starter base. My actual project for most of this season, which I'm guessing will last probably about a year, is actually way out here in the middle of nowhere. I've got my bed. I did turn the coordinates off so people on the server don't actually know where this is. So that is the start of my Season 6 of BasementCraft, Season 2 of HyruleCraft, whatever you want to call it. This, though, is where I'm going to be spending my time, and I'm very excited for the things I have planned for this project in the days ahead. If you like this video, like and subscribe. I hope to do more of these in the future. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. I am Joshgetslost. Bye.